Welcome to Nicole Loving Earth, everyone, and I have a very exciting surprise guest today. My girlfriend, Natasha Longman, has decided to join us. We're talking all things sexuality and spirituality today. So, this is going to be a super juicy episode, and I can't wait to get into it. We're going to cover things like twin flame. We're going to cover things like your sexual power and what that means. We're going to talk about kundalini and who knows what else will come up. So, before we get started, I just want to introduce Natasha. Natasha, welcome and thank you for coming on Nicole Loving Earth.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm very excited. It's just divulge everything, bring it out there, good to talk.
Yeah, I'm excited by this too. You're my first official guest on the podcast, so thank you for joining us today. And I want to jump straight into it because Natasha is amazing. She's in the UK. She's an intuitive energy healer. She does a lot of crystal work, and she's still riding the flames. She's riding the flames of
I'm right.
a Kundalini awakening. So this was perfect timing for this podcast. So
Yeah, pretty.
so what I want to ask, okay, let's explain what Kundalini is first. Okay, so Natasha, I want you to explain what you had as the process, or explain what came up for you, or even just explain what Kundalini is to the people that are listening at home, and then we're going to jump into it and open it up. What do you think?
Yeah, cool. I think probably everybody's experience of Kundalini is completely different though. So like my one was really super powerful. I think also if you're a healer or you're intuitive or you're going to be able to activate yourself a little bit quicker or a little bit, than someone who just comes into the room saying, "Oh, I just want to be activated." But
Yes.
for me, it's the awakening of your energy field, allowing yourself to dance again and that freedom within yourself. And I just think it's just so beautiful. Like I laid there with no expectations. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna let it go, let it flow. And it really did, and I just think something like that is so beautiful. I released, I cried within the session. My hands filled up with heat, my body tingled all over. And they're just a few things what can happen on the Kundalini experience. So, and just for me, that was just like it was exactly where I needed to be. And
Mhm.
after previous relationships and everything else, I just feel like I need my own time and my own space to get myself, together as well. So, and I know
Yeah.
that we're going to be discussing that. Yeah, but no, it was really enlightening, and I would suggest anyone to to go and get an activation because there's all different types of kundalini. You can have kundalini yoga, but this is an actual activation where the healer goes around you and touches certain parts of like your chakra system, and will sort of
Starts
rustle,
moving the energy.
dance around, yeah, and you're just basically moving the energy up and down, flowing through. There's areas of, like my sacral was really burning at one point, and it was just like that fluctuation, and my hands were like on fire. And then during the activation where I was like sort of lifting up, I
Yeah.
was just like, wow, like you can't describe it because like literally it feels like someone's pulling you up, but
Mhm.
no one is picking you up. There's no one around you. You're doing it yourself. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm being rose up. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, the
But it was just,
physical responses of the body are incredible. And
yeah.
I feel like it's different to when you connect or when you're opening yourself up to consciousness, because this is all starting at like the top, like at the seventh chakra, at your crown, your third eye, you're focusing on this. That Kundalini energy is coming from the first chakra, and it's like that river of information, that river of energy that kind of floods up, more focused on the back of the chakras, where it's like from the root through the sacral, the solar plexus, but like almost like up and down your spine, right? So it's like a very internal process, but you can feel that lift, like you're a puppet being pulled by the puppeteer, right?
And you can't help it. Like my hands were rising up. I'm like, uh, but it is like a pocket, and I'm like this. Whoa, it bring it back down, but you can't bring it back down, and your hands are like literally going, and they want to go higher, and your body wants to go higher, and it's like there's you. Even if you try to resist it, I'm not able to resist it because my body won't allow me to go. And I was just like as you said,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, it is that. I love that you spoke of like not having expectations of going into it. And it's like the more that you can be open and the more that you can soften into the experience, it's just like you allow that energy to take you where it needs to, right?
exactly. And there's so many people that go into the experience and they're like, oh, like they're so against what they're doing. They say that they want to release, but
Hmm.
they don't really want to release. They're on the fence going, do I want to do this? Do I not? And because you're in that state, you don't actually release. So
Yeah,
because you have to be blocked with your crown chakra.
yeah,
So we all know how important those open of them, those chakras, and how quickly they can close. And then obviously the tears in the aura field, and we have to repair those. And if we don't, then we'll get sick, like maybe we'll get sore throat, or those knock-on effects. The chakra system is so important that we keep it awake and alive and open. And the
yeah.
moment it closes, shuts down, you have to start healing those closed chakras and those blocked energy fields.
Yeah, and I think it's really like it's almost like Tantra Kundalini seen as like a little bit of a taboo uh kind of practice, right? Where it has that sexual connotation to it. But I love what you said there. It's like your experience with it is dependent on how open you are, right? And I even say that with clients, no matter talking about just regular energy healing work. When I say regular, all of it is regular, all of it is connected, because if we shut down that sexual side of us, we're stopping the flow of chi or energy coming to us and through us, right? So kundalini, yes, it awakens that fire within and it can transmute, and it's all about the release, and it's all about that opening yourself up. And so if you're going into it, if it's in a group setting where you have a fear of judgment or fear of being rejected or fear of making a fool of yourself or something like that, that's going to hamper, like that's going to
You
stop the
have to,
flow.
you, yeah, your
Yeah.
solar plexus is going to close straight away. And when it closes, you're going to go into fear mode. Then the fear is going to go straight up to the crown chakra, and you're never going to release. You're never going to. You might as well not bother doing it. Like if you're not open and you're not willing to release and let go, then it's not going to work for you. But then that's for any healing sessions that we do, isn't it? Because when
Yes.
we as healers, we go into and we have like a client in front of us, and we start from the bottom and start from scratch and sort of like working out where was your childhood trauma, where did this lie, where did that lie, and
Yes.
like in everything together. And there's always issues that relate back to something. So it's all fear at the end of the day.
Correct. I agree. And it's the kundalini practice, or if this is something that's piqued your interest or you've always had curiosity around it, like Natasha's had the experience a day or so ago of being in a group setting and having this activation, and the rooms are generally set up like a yoga studio, like mats or little pillows. And the practitioner may have a sound bowl or a music playing or a musician, and it is all very much a guided practice, right? But if this is something that you're thinking, oh, I don't know if that's the right thing for me, like the week before on the full moon, I went into meditation not even knowing that I was about to have a Kundalini experience. So this can be something that just is a
Naturally, yeah.
surprise. Or it can be something unplanned. It can be something that you set as intention when going into meditation, or it can be something that just comes upon you that you are ready for this experience. So it was like the full moon. I was told by my guides to lie down. When I'm told to lie down, I know that there's like some kind of download or information coming through, a message either for me or for the collective. It's just about whatever it is. There's always a surprise. And literally, my experience was a deity came in at the time. I had to research afterwards who it was, but came in extremely fierce, this warrior, blue in form, like just absolute, like hair pulled back so severe, like mine today. But just like wielding this like flame and this sword and these little skulls hanging off her like midsection, nothing on the top, like clear as if she was standing in my room. And she was like, "You are not in your power." You know,
Warrior
and she,
mode,
yeah,
full
and
on
I was
warrior.
just like,
You're definitely not in your warrior mode. Because usually I'd be like,
And then I had like literally the two serpents. Like this is all in my meditation. This is the visualization I'm seeing. But the two serpents are flaming serpents, right? Crisscrossing each other back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, basically entering through my root, and just my whole back went ramrod straight. Right? This is like me by myself in my room, not knowing that I was going to have this experience. And these flames just like burned away all indecision, burned away all fear of self, burned away anything that was holding me back from being free, anything that was not allowing me to be in my full expression, anything that was hampering my expansion, right? And so I was like seeing, and so how do I know that that's what was happening? Is like I was having all of these little pop-ups of visions of this needs to go, this needs to go, that being burnt, this going, this kind of warrior like slicing and dicing and setting on fire anything that wasn't allowing me to be in my power. And so then it was like you said, like I was so hot, right?
yeah,
So hot,
like on
hands
fire.
on fire. Like even now I'm talking about it and my skin is like so hot to touch and it's like so cold here today.
And I get that because I'm still on fire from last night. Like literally could not sleep. I was tossing and turning. Obviously really hot here in the UK right now. So
Yeah.
it's like 29 degrees and we're not used to that. And it was
No.
like, oh, I'm really hot. And like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm opening up the doors and windows and I'm going, I'm still hot. What's going on? But it was just and this morning I'm on fire still. Like I've got so much energy. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm like, oh,
Mm. That's the key thing here too, because we think it's only in regards to the sexuality, but that kundalini energy is fantastic if you're needing more fire, if you're needing to take action, if you're needing to move through, if something is stuck and you're just like, ah,
yeah,
that is like the energy to really transmute. So it's kind of like,
really.
yeah, 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 yeah. I don't only associate it with your sexual power, because if there is any part of your life where you're not completely in your power, it's going to go across to all aspects. So if you're not in your power at work or in your relationships, that's going to carry over to your sexual relationship, that's going to carry over to your friendships, that's going to carry over to how you feel about yourself. So it's kind of like how you are in one area of your life will carry over to everything,
Yeah,
right?
and it's well, it's how we look at things, isn't it? If you're in a negative thought process, you're not going to relate to any situation in a good way. If you're in a positive mindset and you're like, yeah, 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 you're always, like it's when someone smiles at you, you're
Mhm.
smiling, everything's great. But if I'm miserable with you, you're like, oh, okay, maybe not today. But if I'm
I'll send
smiling
you
at you,
some
you're
fire.
like, yeah, let's do this. But if you're giving over a negative vibe, like someone's going to reply back to that negative vibe and like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
so it is all about energy and it is all about our alignment, and energy is everything. Like if we're positive and we're actioning things and we're getting stuff done, we feel great. When we're sitting on the sofa and we're not doing something, yeah, that's nice if we're taking that time out. But if that's making you feel bad that you're sitting on the sofa, what's the reason why you're feeling bad? Like there's always a reason behind everything, how we feel. Like if someone lies to you, what are they escaping? What do they not want to own up to? What do they not want to express to you? you know, and instead of having a go at them and saying, you know, like, you've just lied to me, you've just done that, have a look at the whole situation behind it. Why did they feel like they had to lie to you? What's the reason? What's going on around them that they have to feel like they have to do that? You
Yeah.
know, it's just that's like a can of worms to go
I
into.
like
But
I like where this is going though, because I feel that's a natural progression. Okay, so Kundalini, is there anything else we want to add in there? I love that topic. We can expand on that in another
my
one.
crystals are everything to me.
But I
Like
love
being
where.
a crystal child,
Sorry, say it one more time.
being a crystal child from the age of 7, I'm just like, crystal, ah, that's my meditation, that's my energy. I'm like, oh, it's another crystal.
Crystal avoidance. It's not. It's like spiritual bypass.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
just
like
get
if you
another
have all the
crystal
money in the bank and it's like, oh, crystal, I have another one of those.
too. All right, hang on. What do I need now? Abundance.
Yeah,
Okay, let's get
I
that.
know. Yeah, I need that crystal. Used to be handbags and shoes. Oh no, no, no,
No,
no,
no,
not
no,
anymore. It's like, what do I need?
no, no. All right, I love it. So, crystal avoidance. Okay, we've coined a new term here today. When you're practicing crystal avoidance, this is when you're bypassing your feelings and emotions with replacing with a crystal. And so, and so, like, if we open up that thing of lying, right? Everybody has lied at one point in their life, whether it was a small lie, a big lie, everything in between, right? I
I
feel
try not to lie.
no, I know,
I
me
try to
too.
keep the girl guide, girl guide, brownie.
Yeah, look,
Honestly,
I honestly, I find it very difficult to lie anymore, which
I do, because you know why? Because we always get found out because we're so bad at it.
terrible.
There's no point in lying because I'm going to trip myself up. So I might as
But
well be
also too,
open.
I think the closer we get to source, or the more in communion we are with Creator or God, it's like
And you're like,
there's
why
no
bother?
motivation.
It's just wasting. It doesn't make up a whole story. And then 6 weeks later or wherever else, I'm going to put my foot in it because I'm going to say, oh, yeah, I done this. And then I'm just going to go, oh, oh, no, don't say that.
Yeah,
And I've really, so it, no
I
lies,
agree.
no lies.
No,
I
I
am what
agree.
I am, you know.
But I feel like when we're the receiver of somebody lying. So I love doing this, and this can be done with anything. And like what you were saying, right, with the lying, it's like, say it's lying, say it's anger, say it's cheating, say it's whatever. Okay. If we use lying as an example, what is the intention of the lie? So it's like if the lie is the front or the mask, right? Like what is like what you're saying, like go deeper, see the bigger picture. It's like that layer behind. What is the intention for the lie? Are they protecting themselves or you, right? What is it behind that? Is it like they're not living? If so, if you're
Yeah,
going deeper than the intention, what is the
yeah,
heart
sometimes
saying?
there's childhood trauma behind it because they couldn't be open and honest with family members. They couldn't express themselves in a roundabout way. So they just generally lie because they can't open up about any situation around them. So
Yeah.
there's so many areas of the lying that, you know, like you can, but usually at the end of the day, if you just put it in a nutshell, it's because someone isn't comfortable where they're at. They're lying for your own benefit because they don't want to hurt you, or you know, there's got to
Or
be
they're
other
lying to
things.
save themselves. So it's either to save you or to save themselves. I also think lying is like a representation or a physical out, like a physical manifestation of not living your truth.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true, because you know, I don't feel the need to lie about
Yeah,
anything. I
yeah.
am open, honest. I don't need to lie. If you know, I'd rather someone be completely honest with me and open about how they feel than, because when I'm I'm an empath. I feel
We
their
know
energy.
when it's
So I know when you're lying to me. So if
this
anyone's watching this,
is
please don't lie to me, because I wake up in the middle of the night going, I know he's lied to me. I
yeah.
know. You
So
know, it sounds like, you know, like that you read the energy. You know by their facial expression, you know by
oh,
their tone, their
the
voice.
tone. Yeah,
You know,
you
like,
know when something.
don't lie. Just be honest, because I'll have a better reaction with you if you're open and honest with me.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
yeah, it might hurt, but I already know really what you're going to say anyway. So,
Yeah. Well,
right.
that's, I think I did a post like a little while ago, a month or two ago, and it was like, yeah, it was like, I love to see you try and lie to a psychic, you know? Like it's kind of like, it's like, I
I know
think
what you're going to
because
say anyway.
we know the energy's off, we know what you're about to say. We know when the energy's off. We know what the truth is. So it's like, it's fun watching you.
Even if you can't read the situation, you'll read the energy field because your
Yes.
gut will tell you. So
Yes.
your gut's already telling you that
Yes.
the
Your
energy's off,
intuition.
and you're and it puts you in a state of a spiral because you're like, oh, and it makes you uncertain, and it makes you go round like in a Ferris wheel, go round and round and round, and just think, I just didn't need you to lie.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
need the
it's
lie.
true because we can feel the energy when it's not truth. It's a very different vibration when it's not truth. And I feel like that's the key. When we talk about everything is energy, we're like, people can be like, well, how do you know that it's a lie? The vibration is different. So it's like when something is truth, it's clean, it's clear.
Yeah.
There's no distortion or disturbance within that vibration of what someoe's speaking, what they're saying in a message. Like you think, oh, okay, if I send it in a message, I'm safe. Bow, bow. We
No, no. How many more times? Like my ex, right, had such an issue. Like he'd think I'm saying one thing, and I really wasn't. And the communication was just off. So now I'm like, if I speak to anyone, I'm like, voice note. If I've got to express myself on anything, I'm going to do a voice note
me
because
too.
you're not going to get the point. A text message or a message, when it comes through, can be really blunt to the point, and
Mm.
it's not how the other person's feeling.
No.
It's just a direct message of, like, it is what it is, like that kind of. But if you've done a voice note to someone,
There's no
you'll
misinterpretation of the energy.
it is so much, it's so different, like, and you're receiving my energy as I'm talking to you on a voice note.
Yeah.
There is no, there's no issue with it. You can understand each other, and you can understand each other's vibration, and that's not even it from someone who's psychic or anything else.
No.
You pick up on the energy field. It's like that smile again, like when I'm talking to you,
Yeah.
if I'm smiling at you, you're smiling back at me. If I'm moody with you, you're moody back. Like it's the reciprocated energy.
Mm.
It's so important, and
I,
I think most of the time we don't discuss it enough.
yeah, and it is, it's true. It's like that energy. So when you feel that energy, if someone's left you a voice note or whatever, you can feel like how they're feeling in the day. And exactly what you said,
You
Natasha.
don't take it so bad. You don't
No,
take
no,
it so
no.
bad because you're like, okay, I've got this. Like I understand
Yeah,
where they're at. But when you're having a message and it's in black and white, you're just like, no, no,
yeah.
because
I think
you're not gauging on their energy field.
no, it's true. And so that's like what we're talking about with vibration and energy. Our voice carries like so much cadence, so much resonance. Our voice carries our vibration and our energy. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the voice note. I'm voice noting over everyone at the moment.
I
Um,
am now. I've learned. Hand on heart, I have learned from my experience. I am not doing general messages anymore.
Good
My
girl.
voice, you get
Yeah.
hello,
And
you get a
so
more. It's like it's reciprocal. So that
And so
makes
what
me
we're talking
happy.
about is like when someone is lying, it's like having a TV, like an old school TV that's in between stations, right? It's kind of like when someone's lying, there's distortion, there's disturbance.
But also, it hurts your heart as
It
well. It
does.
hurts your
Yeah,
heart
you feel
because
it.
as an empath, you can feel that the energy's off,
Mhm.
and then when that hurts, it really hurts your heart. Well, it hurts
It
mine
does.
anyway.
It does. No,
So
it feels like a little mini sword or something, just like, right?
yeah,
It's like
and
a
then
little,
your defenses go up because, as we say with the chakra, it goes open and it's beautiful and it's open, and someone says something negative or something that we don't like, and immediately it shuts down.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that barrier goes up and that shield goes up on me, and I'm like,
My little
right, okay,
soldiers, my little soldiers kind of march and
I'm not
stand at attention at the gate wall. Yes.
so true. It's so true. It's like,
Right.
okay,
So vibration is everything. Energy is everything. Keep in check of yours. And this is like, even for relationships, like we're very good now. There's so many people that are doing energy work that are aware of energy, that know what's up with it. It's kind of like we're become very good at cultivating the energy, right? Cultivating our energy. It's like our little white picket fence. And so
I,
what
I, I
go?
think definitely we've got better. I
Mm,
still think there's so much more, there's so many people out there that still need to learn about energy vibrations, because when you start talking about, this is a completely different path of just doing a detour, but start talking about mental health, you start talking about this is a detour away, but it still comes back to your imbalance of your chakra area and your imbalance of your energy field. So it's really, really important that we do things to make our energy level and our chakras completely, cemented
balance,
and
soft,
balanced,
open.
and open, and expressing our truth, saying how we feel, even if it hurts the other person, or just being open and honest. It's just like, it's key. And I
Yeah.
think for me, and I know that we're going to divulge on this, but my previous relationship was just built on so much, like it wasn't open and honest. It
Yeah.
really wasn't. I tried to be open and honest, but even that, my throat chakra was
Mhm.
going um try but yeah, it just, but they'd say something to me, and then immediately your energy would be reciprocated in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it's working through things like that. And if you don't have a partner on the other side that's interested in working on that, and they're only interested in their own self goals,
Yeah.
it makes it very good.
Yeah. I think so too. Like, um, I feel like many people listening would have had this experience where they felt like they're the ones carrying in the relationship. They're the ones giving in the relationship. They're the ones that are being really open and vulnerable or raw. I love what you said. Like, I always want to be honest. I always want to speak my truth in every aspect of my life. And I feel like finally, we were talking about puzzle pieces before the call. I feel like that puzzle piece is within me completely now, where it's like I want to speak my truth in every situation, but I want to do so from love, right? Where I'm not speaking my truth to harm or hurt someone. It's that conversation of like, okay, this is what's going on for me. And like what you said, like we're not responsible for how the other person receives it because that's where they are. But if you're clean and clear with your energy, where you are gently or standing up for yourself or speaking your truth, speaking it from a place of love, from a place of care, of compassion, then it's just like, well, you've hit that ball up and you've volleyed it into the other side, and it's like it's up to them how they respond. you cannot
So true.
you cannot be in control of the response or the reaction. You cannot have expectation of which way it's going to go, because you speaking your truth
Oh, no
is the courageous
expectation.
part, right? That's the courage there, speaking your truth, taking that step. Sometimes you're going to feel like, you're the little turtle poking out, and then you come back in, and you're a little turtle poking out, and then you come back in. But it's like but it's like at the same time, that's part of your courage, growing your courage muscle, growing that muscle and expanding it. So the more times that you're courageous in your life, the more that grows and the more courageous you can be. And then all of a sudden, who knows? Who knows what you're
You
speaking?
know yourself, and you know who you are, and you're riding on this huge mission. But
Mhm.
then one other stumbling block comes along, because we're never truly healed.
No,
There's always something else coming on, and
of
you go,
course.
oh, I thought I'd got that
I
covered.
thought I got all that last time.
I'd done that. I'd done that. but now the situation is coming out and I'm not going to mess it up this time. I am going to get it
Yeah.
right.
Well, let's step into this because we feel because if I wanted to start moving into like the soulmate, the twin flame, that kind of energy, or what is a soulmate, what is a karmic bond, what is a twin flame kind of energy, and a lot of us can be like, well, I'm healed. I should have this person in my life now. I've done enough healing. Or it can be the flip side of that where it's like, oh my God, I don't want I'm not going to meet them until I'm healed. So
It
yeah,
doesn't work like that.
yeah, it
The
doesn't work.
universe, the universe won't allow you to do that. The universe will throw something else at you and go, "Yeah, have that," and you go, "Damn it, yeah,
Oh, you
okay."
think you're ready? I'm going to give you another lesson and let's just see
Yeah,
how
I'm
it
just
is.
going to give you another one just to roll you in and just to
Oh, you
see
think
how
you're
you're going to
healed?
go with
Here's your
that one.
lesson.
Yeah, yeah. Have
So,
you truly healed? Have
yes,
you truly healed?
yes,
We're going to give you another situation.
yes. Yeah, that's actually a really
Yeah.
good point because when we do a big aspect of our healing, or when we feel like, wow, I've just moved something huge, the universe will send you a test almost instantly. Like instantly,
Mhm.
there's no mucking around. So it's like if you've done this big, huge energy work and you're like, oh my God, why is this happening again to me? I just healed this. That is why, because you did.
Yeah.
And now is your
You did.
test,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's like
And
the
they're going to test
assignment,
you.
and this is
See,
the theory. This is the practical being put into motion. All right, you've done all the theory work at home by yourself. Now we're going to put you into the practical testing.
now this is your exam. Now go on, off you go.
Oh, you think you're
We just
healed,
watch
huh?
from above and just see how you're doing it. You know, just rock and roll. Let's do this.
Yeah, so
I'm like, come on, bring it. Come on.
that's all you've got.
Yeah, is that all you're going to test me with? Bring it on. Bring another one on.
Yeah.
So,
So,
but,
okay, so let's explain for those that are like, I don't understand all these terms. A soul, okay, we've got soul partner, or, a soul relationship,
soulmate.
soulmate, thank you. Then we've
That
got,
soulmate can be a friend as well.
yes.
It doesn't have to be a relationship. It's a
Hmm.
soul, a soul connection. I
Yes,
always like to say a soul connection.
yes. So soul, yeah, and exactly. So soul connection or soulmate could be like your local grocer. It could be your next door neighbor. It could be a family member. It is any experience that you've had in a previous lifetime with this person as a soul. So it's like that soul connection is just a recognition, right? It's allowing you to feel familiar. Oh, I knew this person, they know me on a soul level, right?
Yeah.
And so
And you
this,
understand that person, and
sorry?
it's a beautiful, like you understand that person. It's a
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
There's no unrest with that connection. It's just easy. It's beautiful. It's smooth. It it just rolls. There's no, them triggering you in any shape or form. It's just it's a soul connection. It's beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, and you can come in and out of each other's lives really easily too.
And
Okay.
time
Yeah, it's one of
means
those
nothing.
friends where you don't speak for 3 months and then, you pick up right where you left off, right? There's no time that's passed. So I love that kind of connection. Um, Next is like karmic bonds. Okay, so these are really interesting. They can mask as a soul connection or mate, and they can mask as a twin flame, the karmic bond, right? And this is almost like those lessons that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
karmic bonds are the ones that are going to kick you in the ass. They can also be
Yeah,
so
they're for
beautiful.
evolve you as well. They
Yeah,
can evolve you
yeah,
in certain ways.
exactly. A karmic bond is just like its job is to evolve you, right? That's its main purpose. So like a karmic bond relationship can feel at the start very much like a twin flame or a soulmate kind of energy, but there's always a cycle, right? It will come to its natural completion. Yeah, it's always a cycle. Always a cycle. So it might be, and we when we hear this information, we think, oh, I helped them with this, right? That's why we were together, because I was to help them with this. But there's two parts, there's two sides to the karmic bond. They're releasing, healing, moving, growing something within you, and you're doing the same for them. So I had a really beautiful karmic bond, and it did come to its natural end, and we're still really great friends. So the thing is like when it's a karmic bond and we believe it's more than what it is, we want to keep pushing after the completion date, right? We want to keep,
Mm,
we're still attached to that. We're still like, no, 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 this is like a soulmate, this is like my twin flame. And so we keep, but the cycle's complete, it's finished. What you've both done what you were supposed to do. And so knowing that energetically and being like, oh, this is the natural end. There's no sadness. It's just like, okay, you have a bit of sadness that the relationship didn't work out or whatever. But it's just like when you take that time apart, well, for me in this instance anyway, it was like we both saw it as like, wow, you helped me with this, I helped you with that. I'm so happy that we had that time together. We've done so much, for each other, and now we're friends, right?
yeah,
So it's like a karmic bond we can think of as brim and hellfire, but and it can be for sure. But when you see it as that, maybe after the fact, um, you actually see, oh, I see how that changed and uplifted me. Like that karmic bond relationship, I wouldn't have started my spiritual practice without it. I wouldn't have believed in my abilities without it. I wouldn't, he was pushing me the whole time to do this. Nicole, you're so good at this. You need to do this. You push, like just pushing me to do it. And for him, it was reconnecting him with his family because they'd all dispersed and they weren't even in contact. And now they're all back together.
that's useful.
So, we both brought such gifts to each other's lives. It wasn't like, oh, I did all this for you and you did nothing for me, blah, 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 blah. No. Take the ego out of it and realize how they changed you too. So,
Let's go on to
yeah.
mm.
All right. Now,
It's honoring the ego though, and realizing that you're in ego and not in the soul purpose.
yeah. Hmm.
That's really important.
Mm, yeah. All right. Now, the mountain of twin flames. This is going to trigger a lot of people. We're just putting a trigger warning in now for you all.
All of a sudden they head
You go
off.
first. All of a sudden, I got real sweaty.
Yeah, I'm burning up again.
All right. All right.
We
Sasha, I feel like
honestly
I've been
ever
speaking for a lot,
really.
so you can go first on twin flames. What's your opinion? What's your ideas? What's your thoughts? What's your channel on twin flame energy?
So twin flame energy, doing the same things at the same time without being and knowing about it. But then you can have the fake twin flame, and that you think that they're your twin flame.
Hmm.
Um, I see so many times people go, "He's my twin flame." I go, "Oh, well, is it?
Do you think
Do
it's
you
like
really want him to
status?
be your? Do you really want him to be your twin flame? Because I don't think so. Because the twin flame's going to bring, very much like the other one, but it's going to bring highlight issues in the relationship or within yourself,
Hmm.
or your younger years, your older years, things that you've gone through beforehand. The twin flame is going to highlight those situations around you, and it's either going to make you really like excel, or there's going to be some times where the twin flame is going to really affect you and really hurt. It's really hurt. And there's always the runner and the chaser as well. One's always doing all the work. Here I am, and let me give you everything of me. Like, what can I do? Let me say morning every morning to you, because that's going to make you happy, isn't it? Like, let me just give you all my energy, and you drain me completely. Just take it all.
Not you complete me. You drain me
You
completely.
you're actually draining the life out of me.
Right.
Are you a vampire? Are you, maybe you are a twin flame, but are you an energy vampire as well? Like, are you a narcissist? Like
Yes.
looking at all those avenues as well, because
Yeah, I
as
feel like I definitely feel it's interesting what you said at the start because I feel like in the spiritual community or maybe the greater community, this element of twin flame, it's almost like a status symbol, right? Like I've got my spiritual felt hat, I've got my mala beads, I've got my gypsy clothes or my my kaftan on, and I have my twin flame, holding my hand, right? And it's like,
Mm.
oh, I've achieved spiritual status. I'm on the hierarchy ladder because my twin flame's standing beside me, right? So it's like if your driving force of finding your twin flame is to appear like your shit's together, right? That is the wrong energy. Full stop. Full stop. Full stop. If you are feeling like you are less than something, if you do not have this energy beside you, right? That is like the wrong energy to come into it with. I do feel like a twin flame energy exists, but different to what we have placed our romanticized ideals onto it, right? So it's kind of like we've romanticized the idea of a twin flame, where, and really, it is forcing growth. It is when you come together. Yes, of course, it's magnetic or it's powerful, but it is like what you were saying, it's to burn down, right?
Mm.
There's no surprise that it's called a twin flame. It's to burn down your preconceptions of what a relationship is, right? It is to show you the areas of yourself if you're willing to face them, okay?
Mm.
So definitely with that twin flame energy, I love what you said as well about um, it's kind of like the runner and the chaser. There's always one that is, say, more spiritually advanced,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
right? Which is the chaser. It's always the chaser
Mhm.
as well
Yeah,
because
because
they're
we
like,
want to heal them. We're like, yeah, let
but
me heal
also
you.
we're the ones
I
who
know
have
what
seen
it's
it
like to
all.
be
So it's like I don't agree with that because it's like the one who's more spiritual, the one who's more tapped in, the one who's more connected, right? Is like taking on the role of the teacher. And so
Mm.
we're like, I've seen all this, I've experienced all this, and then there are a few creeps in of like, oh, I don't want them to abandon or reject me if I let them know everything that I've seen, right? Because
Yeah.
we can be like, oh, and the runner, why are they called the runner? Because they're gonna practice avoidance. They're gonna, you know, they're
They're
gonna
gonna go, I'm
see.
not gonna action that today. And you're
Yes,
checking your phone, go, why are
yes,
they not replying?
yes,
Why are they not
yes,
addressing this?
yes.
I know the reason why they're not addressing it. Let me just help them again. Let me just send another message because I've got it under control. No, you haven't got it under control. You need to stop.
Right. And so in that, we can feel, okay, so say for instance, you feel in, if you have an idea or you think that this person is your twin flame, right? What you are doing as, say, the person who's more spiritually gifted or the chaser, what you are doing is giving your power away completely. Like you were saying, oh, you drain me completely. You're giving all of your power away. You're giving all your
There's
power
my
away
cup.
freely, willingly.
Just,
You're
just take my
like,
cup.
here, take my
Please,
power.
just drain me. Just
Yeah.
drink up. Like take it all. And then
Right.
afterwards, you're exhausted. Where have I
Exactly.
gone wrong?
And
And
so,
then when you don't do as they expect you to, and all of a sudden you stand up for yourself.
yeah,
Oh,
forget about it.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, you're the baddie. You're the baddie.
Yes.
Like
So that's where the
you're the
gaslighting will
one.
come in.
Yeah,
That's where the
that's right.
narcissistic
Keep going. Yeah.
tendencies come in, everything. When
You've
you
done
see
this
the
to me. You've
truth.
hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Not that you look at the situation. How is that other person feeling?
Mm-hmm.
I've hurt you. Really? You haven't seen how you've drained my cup? Now all of a sudden I'm like saying to you,
Yeah.
wake up, and you're like, you've really hurt me.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the thing is we I want to just like what you said there where like you drained me. No, we allowed them to drain us.
oh, totally,
Right. We
totally.
allowed them
Because
to
you
drain
just
us.
want to keep on helping and being nice and, and yeah, and it's our fault. So that when you come out of that relationship, like as you haven't, if you've given too much, you have to look at yourself and
Yes.
take it back and go, hang on a minute, like I've been doing this all this time.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why did I feel the need
What
that
part
I
of
had
me?
to
Yes.
build them up
Mm-hmm.
to a point where they're flourishing or they're thinking themselves is so wonderful. Why have I done that? What is
Yes.
in me that I feel that I have to keep on give?
Mm-hmm.
And that comes back down to you. And,
Yeah.
like, I went on that journey and I had a look at what I'd actually done. And I'm like, I, I was trying to make things better, but for who?
Yes.
Because it didn't help the
Easier. A
situation. It
smoother
didn't help
ride.
him and it
So,
didn't help me.
no, and I want to, because I think this will really resonate with a lot of people too. Like, it, I'm doing the work. You're doing the work, right? And so when we
Yeah.
say like I'm doing the work, what that means is like I'm I'm looking at my healing. I'm working on my healing. I'm meditating. I've got my rituals and my habits in place. I meditate every day. I see sunrise. I love my surfing. I'm working on myself, right? When things come up for me, I write about them. When things come up for me, I talk about them. When I have new downloads, I share it with my students. It's kind of like there's this ongoing process of healing, moving
Evolving.
spirit,
We're
right?
evolving still. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And so when you have that person that you feel is your twin flame in your life, they're only observing the process. They're only witnessing the process, then and they feel like it's by osmosis, right? Where, oh, if I'm seeing you go through this, then I don't need to do it. I don't need to face my shadow because you're facing enough shadow for everybody. So it's like, well, no,
We're doing the work again.
so this is like, and I feel I don't want to categorize and say it's only women that have experienced this. I feel like there are guys out there that are doing the work and are trying to pull women into this, and maybe they're not on their path either. The only person that you need to understand and love completely is yourself,
I
right?
was going to say
Yeah,
that's number.
yeah, I don't need to understand. I don't need to keep a scorecard on someone else's healing journey. I don't need to know if they're doing their shadow work or not. I don't need to know if they've got rituals or habits in place because their actions alone show me. The way they
Yeah.
speak to me shows me. The way they respond to how I speak to them shows me if they're doing the work or not. It is glaringly obvious, as we said, about energy. And, if somebody's lying to you, if someone has a disturbance in their field, the thing is if you're doing the work, I see it. I feel it.
Mm,
I know
yeah.
it.
And you
Right.
can feel it with it. Yeah, you can feel it. You,
Yeah.
you, you can feel it. And by the reply of the message, or,
Mhm.
you can feel how far they've come on that journey.
Yes. And so
But also,
there
we need
is,
to honor ourselves on that healing.
yeah,
Like take time out and do things like you said, which
yeah,
is so important. That makes us happy because when we've been in a relationship where we've given everything to that other person, you've stopped giving to yourself,
exactly.
and you have to rewire that and start giving back to yourself again.
Yeah.
And that sometimes that's really difficult because you've so wired of
Hmm.
give all the time to actually start loving yourself. It's like, oh, what's that?
Well, that's what I did on Sunday. I had a day of how can I love me more today, right? That's how I woke up Sunday morning. How can I love me more today? What can I do for me to make me feel as loved as someone in my field, right? And so I had a student a couple of weeks ago say to me, we're having a conversation of what it feels like to receive love from me, right? And she said it was like a tsunami of love coming towards her, and she was holding like a little drugstore umbrella. That's how she described being in my energy of love, right? And I was like, right,
That's
I
so
want to,
nice.
yeah, so the tsunami of love. So I want to feel my tsunami of love on me. I want to feel what others feel when I love them. So it was like I rearranged my bedroom. I danced to Missy Elliott, not one album, but two, right?
Oh, dance, my darling, dance. It's just like, yes,
Dancing
I'm
around,
gonna get up,
you
I
know.
can dance in the kitchen. I'm like changing the energy.
I cooked good food. I washed my sheets and my blankets. I repainted a coffee table. I repainted a side table. I I freed myself from my bad habits, right? I freed myself from the worst habit. So it was like all of these choices were how can I love myself more? How can I love myself more? What can I do right now? Show me what it is I can do. And then it was like, paint that table. Then it was like, okay, let's change your room. Okay, it was just like, go for a surf. Go sit out in the sun. Have your
You're
coffee
listening
out in the
to
sun today,
yourself.
right? So
Mm,
it's just like, okay, if you can spend one day a week, one day a month, where you're like, okay, today is my day for loving me, and do everything that just pops up for you to do. It can be, I don't know, grilled cheese. It can, it can be, catching up with
yeah.
a friend, but it was like a whole day of me for me, and that for me is like, well, this is how I love spending my time, and this is how I want to be loved. And it's nothing extravagant, it was just all little things for me. But that is showing the universe, this is my level now. This is the level of
Yeah.
care, of love I deserve. This is how being loved feels because I'm loving myself at this
You're
level.
setting, you're setting your boundaries, and you're
Exactly.
working out what you particularly want and what you will to particularly take, and having this relationship beforehand structures that. It brings it to a highlight, it brings it to a forefront where you know what you want and what you don't want. And also, as we get older, us women, we're more decisive. We know what we want to take and what we don't want to take. The younger 20 something of me, when I was just getting with my husband, I'm a completely different woman to the 24-year-old, the 26-year-old who got married.
Yeah.
I'm completely different. I've evolved so much in that time. Not saying over relationships, because I haven't had that many, but where I have had the relationships, I've really evolved and expanded during that time. So it's like, it's honoring that your whole experience. Life is so short as well. And for us to get caught up in relationships, or, any type of entanglement for too long, and if it's not working, then it's best just to say goodbye, because it's never going to work. It's never going to make you feel good. If the moment it's something feels off, we should say, okay, fair's fair.
Mm.
It's the fact that we've put so much time and effort into something,
Yes,
and
of
that it hasn't
course.
worked.
Yeah, and we don't like to see things fail. So I feel like
Yeah.
the twin flame energy, it's kind of like there is no confusion, right? There's no complacency by one person. There's no confusion when it's your twin flame. There is no confusion. You're not in your head questioning everything, right? There's no complacency where you're feeling like you're putting energy out and they're not reciprocating. Imagine your twin flame. How are you today? I was thinking of you. What are you doing tonight? Let me take you out. Like, that
It's
is the kind
reciprocated.
of energy.
It's like,
Right.
yeah, let's do this,
Yes, it's
not
fun.
making it.
It's playful. It's expansive. You get to play together. It's being absolutely free to express yourself completely within the relationship safely, right?
The
If you feel
ability,
like you're
90.
holding back any part of you, it is not.
So true. It's so true. It's
Hmm.
so true. And then when looking at those relationships as well, it does highlight our childhood traumas as well,
Of
and what
course.
we're through as children, and what we're wired to do,
Yeah.
and what we've brought up to acknowledge. So there's so much in relationships that you can keep on going over, and you can keep on, or say was this, or say was that, or like, oh, my father wasn't around, or my mother wasn't around, or
Mhm.
I have this issue because of that. Yeah, you may be, but you can rewire yourself.
Yeah, and I
It's
feel like once all the healing, like once all of that trauma has been revisited and the healing's happened and you've talked it out and you've held each other or held space for each other, it's kind of like then the stories come out, right? Then it's sort of like once all of the depths of the well have been explored, it's like then all the fun stories come out. Then you start sharing experiences. Then it's like, oh my God, I was there when that happened, or this has happened, or blah blah blah. It's like all of your stories that become you rather than focusing in on what it is I need to heal. It's like then all of the light comes in and all of that light that's created you, Because on the healing journey and the spiritual journey, we're so focused in on clearing the dark and knowing our shadow and all of this. But then it's like once all of that is moved through, it's like then there's just pure light comes through, you know? And then there's new stories to be created.
Like the chapter, isn't it, the book? One closes, another one opens. You gotta let it go. You
Let
gotta
it
let it go.
go.
You gotta cut it off, and you just gotta you just gotta trust.
Yeah, most definitely. So,
And
in preparation, then, sorry, go, Natasha.
if it's meant to be, it can
Mhm.
come back, but it depends on where you both are. Like you gotta you gotta put the work in.
Exactly. And so, this is like one of the last things I wanted to cover with this is like the preparation. So, we talked about at the start Kundalini, and we've kind of gone through relationship stuff with soul mates and karmic bonds and twin flame. And so this like the sexual side of spirituality, it's like it starts with self, right? It starts with self. So like I think I write in my book, um, I've written a chapter called Sexuality versus Spirituality. And interestingly enough, the first edition of that chapter was completely deleted and a new one
Oh,
came
wow.
through. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a
Funny,
new.
funny when it happens like that. It's like,
And so
oh my goodness, I've just deleted that. Oh, I had it completely to a T. I was so in love with that piece. And then upstairs go, you didn't get it right. Let's wipe it
yeah,
off. How many
yeah,
times have I done that
it
on a
was
piece?
like a
And I
week
realized,
of writing,
yeah.
a week of writing and gone like that.
And you just go, hmm,
And
I'm going to walk
yeah,
away
I
from
was
it.
actually pretty good. I was pretty good, but then I realized, oh, this what was coming through was so much more than what my little human brain was trying to do. So it's like if we can feel like the only thing that is scarier than someone out in the public or a friend or family saying that we're sexy is seeing ourselves as sexy, right? We can be dismissive of that kind of attention for some people, okay? Other people not. I feel like in the spiritual community, there is like two definite sides, the over sexualization and then the almost monk or priestess kind of vibe, where, we're dressed up to here, down to
That,
here.
that. I was like, yes,
Like me.
I'm going to be dressed up. Yeah.
It is winter here.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we have the over sexualized side and the under sexualized side, and we feel like this part of our sexuality is either being like weaponized or used as thirst traps, or that side that's not healing, or that side that's over sexualizing. But that sexual I feel like that sexuality, when we're starting our spiritual path and we shut it all off because we want to work on our healing, we're closing off an energy center, right? And so this sexuality begins with self, right? So, how are you being intimate with yourself? Are you touching yourself skin to skin? Do you feel comfortable doing that, right? And I'm not talking about just self pleasure. I'm just talking about like I sleep naked. I sleep naked, and I love that time in the morning when I'm still lucid, and I just I will self cuddle. I will like run my hands all over my body and I feel my skin, right? This is how I wake up every day. This is me being intimate with
Funny
myself.
you say that
Why?
because I've just started doing that to myself.
I good job.
Yeah, I've only just started. Like, I'll cuddle myself.
Doesn't it feels good, but right?
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
And so that is like, okay, this is like intimacy, being in the bath, being in the shower, and really taking that love and time with yourself. This is coming back to how do I love myself more, right?
I'm not doing it for someone else, but doing it
That's
for
right.
you because
Exactly.
you're loving you. And
Yes,
it's nothing to do with anyone else.
that's right.
It
It's an
just takes
energy.
love you. And no one can love you better than
Mm.
yourself if you truly love yourself.
You're showing other people how to love you with your level of love towards self.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
true. That was one of the things I learned.
And so
Yeah.
And so with that, it's kind of like, okay, when we think about maybe you're just starting on your spiritual path, maybe you're just kind of dipping your toe into spirituality, maybe you don't know if you've connected to your guides or not, maybe you're not understanding of what the term consciousness of God or anything means, or like, am I there or am I not? Is this energy work or is it not? Like, maybe you're on that kind of precipice of like, I don't understand, or I'm very new to this, or I haven't really experienced that connection, or I don't know if I've experienced it before. This is what, anytime that you have orgasms, anytime that any single person has orgasm, this is when you're a direct alignment with God, creation, consciousness. That feeling of no sense of time or space, that feeling of being out of your body, that feeling of just like wanting it to hold, right? Like, don't touch me, don't touch me. Right? That feeling, that feeling of just wanting to hold that connection, that is your experience with God, source consciousness, through that orgasm. Okay, that feeling, right? So when you're thinking about that, and if that's kind of, if you're kind of like, oh, okay, now I know what that feels like, right? And you can have that experience in a sexual playground or not, in a sexual experience or not. You can have that experience, that same experience. But then it's like, okay, so if I start the process of self pleasuring, right? And I want to know, and I am a bit nervous about it, or I am doing it like to do it quickly, a way to come back to your body, a way to come back to your sexual power, a way to open that self up and feel intimate with self, and knowing how to be intimate with self before you allow another energy to come in, because you're really starting to explore and seeing yourself like open up, is like, I would start toning. Okay, so the sexual noises that you make when you're enjoying yourself in the company of someone else is like, if you start just toning, just making those sounds, right? And they might, maybe you're doing it in the shower by yourself, maybe you're doing it in bed, maybe you're in the bath, wherever, it doesn't matter. But when you start creating that vibration, right? And me even just talking about it now, I can feel it, right? That vibration starting. So when you're starting to create that vibration of your noise or your sound that you make when you're experiencing pleasure, this activates within you that sexual healing. Sexual healing is what we're doing right now. And so you making these noises, you being intimate with yourself, you connecting to your body, you connecting to your breath, and then self-pleasuring. When you go into that orgasm that time with the intention of, let's open up my field of consciousness, it's like the whole universe opens up,
It really does.
right? So think about that in regards to self pleasure. If you're going in with the intention of, okay, I want to open up abundance, I want to manifest, I want to do deep sexual healing on myself, I want to open up my connection to consciousness. If you're setting an intention before you're pleasuring yourself, and do so with that intention in mind, you will be amazed at the affirmations that come out. I'm going to call them affirmations at that point peak, at that peak point of pleasure, right?
It's so true.
Yeah. So, what do you have? What comes up for you when I say all that, Natasha? Because I see you got some color in your
Really?
cheeks, lady.
Yeah. And for me, the kundalini last night was so powerful that
Yeah,
it really activated stuff in me. So
yeah.
I'm like, yeah,
But I've just kind of bumped it along a little bit more.
yeah. I'm like,
All right, so maybe I need to keep talking while Natasha's just
yeah,
enjoying this energy.
I'm just like processing still. But I, I I completely agree with what you're saying, though.
Yeah,
Like when you actually truly do love yourself and you're actually pleasing yourself,
for you.
you can actually come to much more of like self expansion, like within your own self. You're expanding so much more, so much in a greater level that it's just a word. It's just orgasmic,
It
really.
is
When you're
orgasmic.
at,
And
when
then
you
you kind of
actually
have that thing of like, did I just
I
do
like it is
that?
like this is so good.
Yeah.
Like honoring me doing me, like, and that's it. I'm doing me, you
Yeah.
know?
And the thing is, like, I treat it like ceremony now. I treat it like
Yeah.
ceremony. It's not something that is a stress relief or, oh, I need to do this. No, no, no. It's ceremony.
No,
It's
no, 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 no.
ceremony.
It's
I have a
like,
bath. Like, I put beautiful oil on my body. Maybe I have a candle. Maybe there's frequency music playing or some music that I'm called to play. But it's like I honor myself in that process, and then bathing in that energy afterwards. Like sometimes I can go into let's say a closed eye meditation. So, but sometimes I'm
oh,
just like expanding the vision and playing and expanding the vision and playing. And so I play in that field of consciousness in that state too, right? Where I'm just like opening the visions and bringing it forward and what is else is coming in. So it's kind of like the ultimate state of relaxation. You're not thinking about anything else. There's no conscious thought. It's just like pure divine connection, right? It's
well,
not.
when we look at it, we're connecting to our deep soul.
Mm-hmm.
When we leave here, we're the soul.
Yeah.
We're still the soul. We're dust at the end of the day.
Mm.
Like when we leave this thing, we always have our soul.
Yeah.
So when we love ourselves and love our soul, we find the right path, and
Yeah.
it's so much more beautiful.
Mm. It is. It all starts with self.
It really does. It's like it really does. And
Mm-hmm.
if there's one thing that I've learned from the relationship, it was that love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I
Yeah.
came out of that absolutely broken. Like I had nothing to say. Like I was speechless. I was just like, I can't talk. I can't talk anymore. I've got nothing to give. Like my
Mm.
cup was well and truly empty.
Yeah.
And it's taken me so long to build myself back up again. Like so long to the point now I'm like, yeah, I got this. I'm back. I got it. I got it. But
Yeah.
like you need to take time out for yourself. Like them people, or like if you're not doing the healing, you're not doing the work on yourself, and you're running into another relationship, that's just another band-aid.
Mm-hmm.
It's just and you're not finding out your true self. You're not working out on you. You're not getting to the nitty gritty of what you particularly
Mm.
want.
It's just you,
And
baby.
that's
There's nothing to be scared of. It's
yeah.
just you. It's
And
just
and
little
and
you.
so what if you have to stay in for the night? It's actually really fun. You're like really good. This one night that I get off, I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna stay
Literally,
in.
it's one night you get off and one night you get off.
I saw a quote the other day, and it was like, when you were younger, you were told that you had to stay in, and you were
Hmm.
like, and now as you get older, the cycle
It's
changes. You're
fluid.
like, shit,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want to
please don't invite
stay
me
in.
out.
I don't want to go out. I don't want to go out. I love having my own time.
Yeah.
And just be pottering around, but I love to
Mhm.
potter.
I know.
Like I love to do my own little thing. And I
Hmm.
think that's just one.
Yeah. Ah, I feel complete. I
I'm
feel.
still on fire. I'm like,
Okay. So I really love where our conversation's gone today. I think we've covered. It's been nice, kundalini, partnerships, relationships, and then coming back to self. Always come back to self. So I
always.
yeah. So Natasha, let people know about your modalities or how they can reach you. I'm gonna put all Natasha's details in the comment section of this as well, so that you can reach out and connect with Natasha if you do. But Natasha, give us a little bit about where you are, what you do, and how people can connect with you.
So, like as a child, I grew up, and I grew up with my mother was medium, and I grew up a very like spiritual. Even though we went to church and everything, so it was quite spiritual. Like we were quite. But I grew up with energy, and I knew all about the different types of energy and everything. So, but again, obviously, raised in different ways and finding myself, because being raised by a spiritual mother made me very, in some respects, like worshipping my mother in some ways, because she knew best, because she always knew the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about coming back from that and actually learning about myself. What did I agree with, like, maybe I didn't always agree with what she had to say, but I went along with it because she knew best, like she was the one that, raised me. She would know. But sometimes you know best, and sometimes like it's like learning about your own self, and that's the journey that I've been doing on myself, like learning about, what does Natasha like, what does Natasha want to do, you know and growing up always knowing that I was a little bit different to others, like seeing things in others and wanting to be that empath,
Mm-hmm.
um, and wanting to fix everybody. Like, oh, let me do this for you because it will make you happy, or it'll make you. And then it was just like, you're missing the link, Natasha. You're really missing the link. You're just giving over the cup all the time. Like, just keep on taking. But now when I've come out of that now, like I actually see puzzles in people, like when I do the healing, I'm Reiki, done all my Reiki training and everything. And I incorporate crystals, been working with crystals since the age of 7. And I've been in the corporate world, gone to the corporate world, come out of the corporate world, went into the fashion world, come out of that. So like I have a real structure, a foundation of different levels of, companies, working for companies, doing my own thing, working for myself. So it's like, but
Mm.
what I do love doing is seeing puzzles in people. Like I'll see someone and I know how to put you back together. And that's what I love doing. Like I love seeing someone who's struggling, or, like I don't relish in the fact, but I love to see them build themselves back up and giving them the points and the key tools, because there's so many different tools that we can use to build ourselves back up again. It's not just like, one thing that works for us. It's like there's several things that we can do to change our aura, to change our field, to repair ourselves. And I just really love putting that all together and finding out where they've been through their journey from their childhood, where, there's fundamental issues, and then helping them rise and become the person that they're meant to be, because the
Yeah.
expansion is so beautiful. And, we haven't got a huge amount of time here, and
No.
it is such a short life that we have here, and it really is one that we should learn and expand from. So
Mm.
our next lifetime, maybe we can get a little bit better right next time round than this time round. But the whole thing is to make sure that it's right by the time we finish.
Yeah, we got a lot to do. We got a busy couple of years ahead of us for sure.
There's so many different things that you can do as well
Mhm.
on this journey,
Yeah.
like, and just enjoy it, like just enjoy living the day every day, like it's your last, like enjoying things is so important. And, like the fear, the stress, the worry, what is the worst that can happen? Like when clients come to me, I would say, but they say, oh, I've got fear on this. But what is the fear? Why have you got that fear? What
Yeah.
is holding you back from you being you? What is the fear? Because really, at the end of the day, there's nothing to be fearful.
No. Other fear is like an attachment to story that makes them feel comfortable.
It's
It's
an
something to
attachment
relate with
to.
other people. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Dolores Cannon, I always like what she says is how I've been brought up without even knowing about Dolores Cannon when I did find out about her. And
Yeah.
some of the key things where we are the creators. What do you want to create? What do you want to manifest?
Yes.
This reality is down to you. You create it. What do you want to do? What do you want to be?
Yeah.
you know and learning to do that, and learning to do that with confidence, and letting go of that fear that surrounds you,
Mm.
whatever is holding you back, because whatever's holding us back is just fear, because we
Exactly.
can accomplish anything we want to.
Mm.
So
I love
so
that. Mm. Mm. I
but
love that.
thank you for
No, you're
It's so
welcome.
nice just chatting as well. We chat often, don't we? We're like, oh,
Yeah, this could
yeah,
be we'll,
exactly, yeah,
this might be part one.
yeah. And it's like, where's the fairy today? Where's the fairy? Is the fairy out or is the dragon out?
Oh, the fairy's out for
The
sure. Okay.
fairy needs.
So everyone, I have had a bit of a break the past few weeks. I've been deep writing my book, which is now in the hands of editors in New York, my editor in New York, and it's titled Free, Living Your Life Free Within Consciousness. So I've kind of expanded on one of the chapters a little bit today, this sexuality versus spirituality. And yeah, I can not wait for it to be out there and out with the public. Of course, if you're wanting a private session with Natasha or you're wanting a private session with me, like all of our details are below. So just reach out and give us a follow, subscribe, or yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. You know, this has been a great episode.
Indeed.
All about sexuality, and we'll come back and do more on this topic because there's so much more to cover with it.
Oh, you can't cover it in, like an
An
hour or so.
hour.
It. Like you just can't. And
Yeah,
as well as I do, we just start talking and then 2 hours have gone and it's like, oh,
yeah,
where have we gone with this conversation?
exactly. So yeah, so check out check out Natasha, check out my website, nicolelovingearth.com. Just know that I love you. Have fun exploring, have fun playing. Let us know how in the ways that you're loving on yourself and on others. Let us know. And if we have triggered you in regards to twin flame energy or anything like that, like go into that, explore that, be curious about that. Why? You know, notice
Yeah,
what
just
came up for you. Mm.
yeah, it's learning about your triggers and what actually
Yeah,
triggers you. And
yeah,
in a
exactly.
relationship, it could be any relationship. It could be your mother or it could be your father.
Hmm.
It could be a family member. Why do you get triggered from them? Like, what is it that makes you trigger? You know, um,
Exactly.
what is behind it? And that's all it is. Like once we find the cause and the roots to it, we can start healing. it's
Yeah.
it's, it's as easy as that. It's being aware of the situation and aware of our flaws, we can heal on that. you
Mm.
know i think
We love
um i
that.
think that quote, when a bird is alive it eats ants, and when the bird passes away the ants
Thanks. Yeah.
eat the bird.
Yeah, it's funny.
So
When my
time is
grandfather
everything.
passed, that was the thing. He fished every day. And when we had him cremated and we were putting his ashes into the spot where he fished, and he was with me, and he said, so funny, every day I eat the fish, and now the fish eat me, you know? And I told everyone there, and we all just thought it was like absolutely a purple thing to say, you know?
How we end the conversation. Exactly.
End of conversation. Yeah.
End the conversation.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, thank you. Reach out if you
Thank
have questions. I love you. Natasha loves you.